welcome back to Plum Mashable. So for today's video we're going to be making a little pocket to help me with my meal planning using my Planner's Anonymous Sunday Roast Kit. So let's go ahead and get to it. Okay, so every month I try and sit down and organise what we're going to have for dinner. I don't mind so much breakfast, lunch. Ryan and I kind of fend for ourselves a little bit there, especially now we're at home. But for dinner, it's sometimes very helpful to know what you're having for dinner a few days in advance. And we sort of rotate between the same meals. So it's not a huge, big, what are we going to have for dinner and thinking something random. It's usually we sort of have sausages once every fortnight and we have steak once a month or stuff like that. So what I thought I'd do to help me out, because I have a sort of like a list where I go through and sort of just pick out what's going to be for dinner on what nights, just randomly. So I thought I'd make myself a little pocket using the new Sunday roast kit to kind of keep all those little bits and pieces in, so that way it helps me do my meal planning every month a little bit easier. So I'm going to start off with this bit of paper because I love it, it's my favourite. And we've kind of done a pocket very similar to this before. I did it with Planner Babe, but for this one it's just going to be a little bit different because it's going to be a little bit smaller. It's still going to sit in my planner and just be a pocket that flips, but it's just going to be a little bit different. So to start off with, I'm going to fold this in half. So I'm just going to, just because it's easier, I will get the scoreboard out in a second. But just for this bit, I'm just going to fold it straight in half. Go. Just do the super hard score. And then on the bottom, I might have to get my other scoreboard out, but just for now, I'm just going to score. I don't know how much that is in centimetres, so I'll just measure it really quick. Needs about 1 centimetre. If it's a little bit more than that, that's okay. So I'm sort of going to do it on the third little one here. 1, 2, 3. So I'm just going to score that much all the way down here. It's alright, it'll fold. Just fold that up. No, we'll do it. I'll just get my big scoreboard out. The good thing is these measurements are exactly the same, so I just pick it up where I had it. Oops. Just finish scoring that, folding that up. And then we also just need to score the same amount on just the right hand side. You have to check if that was right, because I'm not that clever. So I'm just going to score it the exact same across, which I think is about, it's 1.2. It's 1.2. It's half an inch, I think. We'll fold that up too. This is sort of when you're going to get the first glimpse of the pocket, and it'll sort of make sense. So you sort of have it folded up like this, and then like that. So that's the little tab. So for us to put into our planners. And then we'll just make the fold over the top. So then the next part we need to do is a little bit of cutting. So the first thing is to cut the corner so that that sits nice and flush. And if it doesn't sit quite right, just play with the angles till you get it right. There we go. Need to cut this bit off. Now I'm going to use my trimmer here wherever I can because I want it to be a straight line, and I'm really horrible at cutting them with scissors. I am going to cut just up this one, because this one doesn't matter so much if it's not 100% straight. And I'm using my Kaisercraft trimmer here because trying to use my Guillotine would not work. Just straight along the score line there. And just trim that off. And then I just need to do a little corner on this one as well. Now that'll sit nice and flush, easy as. So then we need to cut a little bit on just on one side, because I want there to be a foldable kind of lid on this so that it can shut itself. That way all my little ideas don't run away. So I'm going to cut this to, I think, about 10 centimetres high. So I'm going to do something very similar here with the cutting. So I just need to mark where the 10 is, mark it on this side as well. So I need to cut it on the side that's got all the folds, but not on the other side. So bring the trimmer back in. Again, we're going to use the Kaisercraft because the Guillotine won't work. Just kind of line this up. Doesn't matter if it's not 100% the 10 centimeters, just sort of close to it. Cut just to the fold line. So you just want to cut to the fold line in the middle. And it doesn't matter if you're sort of a little bit not quite there, because you can always trim it up afterwards. And then we're going to cut down that score line again. I'm just going to do it this way just so that I can see where I'm getting to. My personal habit with that is to just cut it a little bit less and then finish it with the scissors, because otherwise you get a little line there and I don't like it. So there we go, you're starting to get a better idea of it here. So now I'm just going to make my little foldable down lid. So I'm going to give it just 1/2 centimeter kind of leeway and then cut it to 9 centimeters from there. So I'm just going to mark at 9.5 and mark at 9.5 on this side as well. I'm going to find the halfway point of my pocket, which is at 12.5, so that's 6.25. So you're doing that at the top as well. And then I'm going to use my ruler. I'm just going to find that 1/2 centimeter again. Very, very, very lightly. So I don't want to be able to see this afterwards. Good thing is this paper is really dark. And then I'm going to go down on the diagonal from the dot that I've put at the halfway point down to my 1/2 centimeter mark down here, and then this will be the flap. There we go. And I'm just going to trim that with my paper trimmer. This one I'll pull in this one because it's a bit easier. And I've just realised I've done something wrong, but I think it'll still be okay. So I meant to leave that flat, which I haven't done, but that's alright. I was going to curve it anyway. So I'm just going to pull in my scoreboard again because I want to make the flap nice. Don't like that point, I may have to change that. So I'm just going to find that 1/2 centimeter sort of on here. Just score down that. And that'll be then where our flap goes. Oh, that's not right, but anyway, I'm going to just go with it. No, I'm not. I actually am going to score exactly on where the line is. And I can just have 2 score lines, that won't bother me. So score that, fold that over. And there you have our little pocket. I'm just trying to work out what I want to do with this because I think I want that to be a flat kind of line. So I'm just going to trim off the little corner here. And then I might round this off afterwards. I don't hate it. And there's our little pocket. Like, it's not complicated at all once you sort of got the idea of where the folds are. I think I want to round off this corner as well. I don't particularly like it being quite so pointy, but I do like the way that it kind of almost matches up with the leaves underneath. So then to sort of assemble the whole thing, just need to knock off this corner on a very slight angle and then just glue to stick it together. And there's our little pocket. So to finish it off, I am just going to add a couple little details. So I'm going to round off the corners here. I don't know what this round is going to look like, so I'm just going to have a look. Nothing. I'm just going to make it look round. I don't really care if it's not 100%, but that's kind of a bit better. And for this, I'm actually just going to grab a little bit of washi tape, just the actual roll of it, and just draw in my little half circle, and then just follow it around to get that curve shape. So it doesn't matter if it's not 100% perfect, that's much better. I like that better. And then the only other thing I'm going to do to kind of make this pocket permanent is I'm actually going to laminate it. So I'm going to run it through my my Mink machine, but my laminator, either or is fine. So you guys know me well enough that I'm going to do this in a matte finish. So I'm going to grab one of my matte laminating sheets out. And then what I'm going to do I'm going to run it through like this. And so what will happen is it'll end up leaving me the ability to be able to cut this open so that I can actually have it as a pocket. So like I said, I've done this before. This has been a pretty tried and true, so I'm pretty sure it'll work. So I'm just going to run it through just like this. I'm always nervous doing this, always, always, always. So don't, if you get nervous when you do it, don't feel bad. I always do too. And then all we'll do is we'll just cut around the outside of it and trim it to make it actually shut. So I'm going to go ahead and laminate that and I'll be right back. Alright, so I'm just going to trim around the outside of my pocket. I don't want to get too close anywhere along the way, so I'm just going to be really careful. Just give it just a little bit, because you don't want to get too close, because if you do, the pocket kind of opens up. I think I'll run this back through the trimmer again afterwards anyway, so I'm not panicking too much if I do break the pocket. It just makes it a bit easier if you don't. Of the little bits here, I'm just going to go around with my scissors, just trying to be as careful as I can, and then I'm just going to do my own little corner rounders. Okay, so I've opened it up a little bit down here, but it's alright, we'll run it back through in a sec. So then we're going to do the opening of the pocket. So for this you need your steel ruler and a craft knife, so you can see, you sort of, Ryan can get a close up really closely here, so you can see sort of along where the paper is sort of meeting each other. That's where there's this kind of little bubble, so this time we're using the bubble to our advantage, and that's where we're cutting to try and get into the pocket that's in between. So I'm not cutting hard here, I'm pushing very, very, very lightly, because it's easier to push really lightly and then come back and do another one than it is to try and fix up if you cut the whole thing off. Generally I found you don't have to do it pretty hard, it's little light bits generally okay. And sort of just poke your knife in there until it opens up. There you go. Easy as, one little pocket. And then I'm just going to grab the score tool out and just score along that line again. So I can fold this over, and then I'll run it back through the laminator just to make sure that we've got everything the way that I want it. So I'm only worried about this little bit down here. It's nothing major. If it doesn't work, it's fine. It's still in its pocket, but I'm just going to run this back through again one more time and then we'll be done. So that's come out absolutely perfectly, no issues at all. I do like to just go back across the pocket. It shouldn't need to be cut again, but you just need to sort of open it back up again, because that plastic might have melted just a little bit again. I said again like 5 times, excuse me. Go, opens the pocket back up. See, I got rid of the bubbles that were on there, and it looks perfect. Now I'm trying to work out how I'm going to keep it shut. Maybe a little Velcro pocket. So I've just got these adhesive Velcro dots. So all I'm going to do is grab the pair. Well, actually, I'm just going to do one side first. Put the hook on the top. Just work out where I want to put that. And then grab the other side, stick it back on. Fold it over. And that way it'll pick up exactly where it needs to go. So it's going to add a little bit of lump, not a lot of lump, but a little bit, because that is a little bit lumpy. But I think it'll be fine. It'll flatten out in my planner after a while anyway. So I'm just going around this little bit because I don't like the way it's sitting. Alright, and then the last thing we need to do is just put in the actual holes on the side here where we need them to be. I'm just going to grab my planner out. Oh, actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to grab my dinner planner out. So I'm just going to work out where I want it to sit. There we go. I'm just going to mark where I want to put the holes. Because we've left plenty of room there, it's not going to be a problem. And then just going to punch straight through with my hole bun. And then, when I go to plan out my November meals, I just move this along each month so it's not going to get in the way. There we go. Got our little meal planning pocket. And I can just put all of my ideas in here, grab them out, tip them out, and then just pick them out one by one. So I'll do that off camera and come back and show you that sort of while I'm finishing up, because it's really just going to be me writing sausages and steak and schnitzel and those things on some paper. If you do want to be really clever about it, you could laminate those as well. I don't really feel the need to, and I'm just going to put it on some nice PA paper and just write each of them out sort of one by one. So it's not going to be particularly exciting, which is why I'm going to skip over it. But then they can just live in the pocket, and if I get sick of a meal for a while, well, you know what, I can take it out of the rotation and I can put something else back in. Similar, and it just sort of keeps me... I don't like having to think of what I want all in one hit, so by having them all written down and just sort of picking them out randomly, that kind of helps me to plan it out a little bit easier. So that is it for this little pocket. Like I said, I know I've done pockets before. They're nothing new for me, but I do really like this one, the sort of half pocket. I think it worked out really nicely. You could stick a quote or something on the back, or a die cut, or fancy it out with a little bit more washi tape, but I think it looks really pretty, just that simple herb design. I really like the herbs in this kit. It's really pretty. So if you did enjoy this one, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to be subscribed to my channel. I've done so many PA videos now. There is a playlist that I will put on that you can watch if you are interested in looking at any of the other old kits and of the other projects that I've made using them. I'll put that playlist on right at the end. I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic day, whatever you get up to, and I'll catch you again in my next video. Sending lots of huggles. Bye!